Okay, wait,
seat.
squeeze in. We're
Get
going to
in
become
there.
one big happy family. Alex Bandon from This Old House is joining us again
How
with
fun.
with uses for some traditional items.
Things you have around the house.
There's an interesting way to preserve bar soap.
Yeah, you just set it on a sponge next to your sink, and it lets the sponge absorbs all that the greasy, gloopy stuff.
Loose soap dish that is like, look, not that we're going to be eating out of it, but it's the most unappetizing looking thing. I mean, all that gook gets down there.
Yeah, and soap lasts longer if it's dried out. In fact, I have another trick for you. If you want your soap to last longer, take it out of the package about a week before you're going to use it and let it get really dry. And it'll last
That is a
longer.
good trick. Now, is there a
Amazing.
specific sponge that you need to be using?
No, it could be any sponge, any kind of kitchen sponge or cellulose sponge or.
Hey, now, and I know you didn't come in here necessarily prepared for this next question, but this is going to be great.
It's the hard-hitting questions down here.
I've heard about these crazy uses for 2 items that you can find in your house. One of which is duct tape, another of which is WD-40. Like WD-40, you can do like everything with WD-40. You can apparently rub it on your joints. I swear to you.
That's
for like,
not a household.
Alex, wait
use,
in
so
here,
I'm not
please.
sure. We had that from health earlier.
please
But I know
respond
you
out there if you know about this. Wait,
Chat room, let us know.
I know you can use WD-40 to get rust off of everything. That's the brilliant.
Yeah,
thing. I mean,
exactly.
it's
Like for
really-
like everything, all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff.
That's the best thing is cleaning up rust.
And duct tape.
Duct tape, you can put duct tape on a wart, and the wart will.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I know a lot of
I think
fun.
it just peels it off, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
We're going to get back to the house items.
Really?
Like,
Why is my ADD kicking in again? I hate when that happens.
you know,
live on the
duct tape
show.
and warts, just not something I think Alex wanted to talk about this
I just
morning.
don't want to pretend to be an expert on warts and things like that now.
Really? Why?
But pencils, that's my favorite tip. This Old House, everyone loves this one because pencils are graphite, and everybody says you use graphite to lubricate a lock. And they make these sprays or these things that you have to go out and buy.
Do that for your
Right,
locks.
but you just take a pencil because the pencil is graphite, and you can rub it on the key, and then that gets the graphite into the lock.
Now, did you know
That's
this
a
one?
trick
This
worth
one-
trying.
This one I knew. As Rebecca said to you
I
on
didn't know
air,
this one.
she
I
said
didn't
to
know
you
this one.
on air. Yeah, you take your pencil. I don't see a
Or are
pencil
you giving
on
us a
there.
demonstration?
You literally you sort of just scrape it right along like the sides, all the edges of the pencil. All right, and then it will go into your lock much smoother. And once that gets sort of like worked around in there, the lock will turn and operate more smoothly.
Just getting the shavings into the lock.
Do you need a sidekick, Alex?
Yeah.
You're very helpful. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
sure.
Lonnie. Yeah.
Well, although Rebecca, when you guys were talking on air, did bring up a good point, which was not to take your sharpened pencil and try to like put it into the lock itself,
Right.
because if you break the tip off, now you've like jammed your
you don't
lock.
really want the tip of the pencil in
Yeah,
there.
not a good thing.
All right, let's check out your shoes. Do they need to be shined up, Lonnie?
I'm
asking this question for a reason.
Ivana shines my shoes right before I go on.
Okay, because coffee filters
Yeah,
can
they're great.
give us a hand here. Let us.
They're that last minute
Give
thing.
us the inside
You're
scoop.
you're walking out the door. You see
This is
you
such
see
an
your shoes are
appealing
kind of like
looking
this.
pose for me.
really is. Okay.
And you just
What can we
grab
do
a
with
coffee filter and you can either wet it down if it's really bad or just rub it off to buff it.
And the whole idea that it doesn't necessarily have to be like a fresh coffee filter.
No,
It can be a
if
dirty
you have
one.
dark shoes, you can use your used coffee filter.
But,
Yeah.
Ooh.
but we wouldn't want to use that used coffee filter on your shoes.
No, it's.
See,
I have
you have a problem
this is
there.
cloth here.
And
That's
just
what,
watch out
okay.
for the grounds too, because you don't want to scratch.
You get
your
like a
leather.
zebra print going on there or something.
Those are
Oh,
excellent.
thank you. They're fun.
Huh.
Now, is it true that coffee grinds? Talking about an off-topic question.
Yeah, go with it. Go with the
Do they-
ADD. Let it run. Let it run, sister.
Does it clean out your drains if you toss them?
Oh,
Down the
I
sink?
think that if you have a disposer, then you can use it to clean up the disposer because it's gritty. It'll clean all that grease off the inside of the disposer. So you put them in there and you run it. You can also put them in your garden if you have hydrangeas.
this,
It's good.
yeah.
Makes your soil more acidic. It's really good for turning your hydrangeas blue. You know, that's just instead of dumping in the garbage, just dump it in the garden.
This. Look at this.
Oh, we love having Alex here.
This is fabulous.
Tinfoil has another really unusual.
Warts
This one,
or warts,
one
right?
was
It's-
even surprising to me. You take tinfoil, fold it up, and you cut with your household scissors, and you'll sharpen your scissors by cutting through the tinfoil several times.
How many times do you actually have to cut through to sharpen them?
Like 7 or 8 times, something like that. If you fold it many times, like make it many layers that you're cutting.
You know,
through.
I would think that would dull my scissors.
That's what you would think,
Yeah.
but no, it actually just the edges of the cut thing rub against the side of the scissor blade, and it puts a sharper edge on it.
All right, here's my favorite one.
Well, okay, well, let's hear her favorite one. It's gonna be
Do you have
great.
an indoor grill?
No, I don't have
I have an
any indoor.
amazing indoor grill, right?
oh, like on
Love to
your-
cook. Yeah, like a little
the
a
stovetop.
step up from like a George Foreman. And what's great about it is, I can cook things in an instant, especially in the winter time, but I'm always left with a mess that is so hard to clean.
You like shish kebab, don't you? Yeah. So you just put baking soda. I always say baking powder, baking soda on it, and it eats through that grease. It kind of gets down to the metal. It's a very natural way to clean grills.
Do you have to let the grill cool before you apply it?
No, you should just put it on when it's sticky and wet. Or even if your things, if you're just getting your grill out for the year, you can get it out and wet it down and put it on. But just so you get it to stick. You want something on there to get it to
How
stick.
much
they're
baking soda?
yelling for me
Whoops. We're missing the weather.
Bye.
Whoops. Bye, Lonnie. That's why we really enjoy our time here on Backstage Live, because you get a true insight into what goes on in the newsroom. How much baking soda on the grill?
Well, you want to cover it. You want to get it to soak in. So I always say it's not like salting your eggs. It's like powdering a donut. You get it on there.
And how long is the baking soda have to stay on there for?
A good thing is to leave it overnight. Just let it sit there for a while. It's kind of like cleaning your oven. You could probably use it on your oven too.
And how do you remove it? Is it just maybe some soap and water and a light sponge?
You could probably need a wire brush, which is also good for your grill anyway. But you could, warm water wire brush, or as I said, you could roll up that tin foil and use that as well. After you've sharpened your scissors, roll it into a ball.
We're reusing everything. Now, is there any way that you would potentially then have to wash it with soap? Or really, once you clean up the baking soda, you're fine to cook on it again?
You could wipe it down, or I always like to recondition my grills with some cooking spray or cooking oil wiped on it, because it makes it nonstick again.
Going back to sponges, the first thing we talked about, they help with some surfaces, right? In terms of preventing scratches on furniture?
Yeah, you don't have to go out and buy those little pads. You can just take an old sponge and cut it into little squares and glue them to the bottom of things, bottom of your furniture legs, bottom of your vases, anywhere that you're worried something's going to scratch the wood.
Is there ever a piece of furniture, an item, where you really need to go the traditional route and purchase the felt protector?
Well, if you might have to make the sponges really thin. Sometimes the felt ones are good for making it thinner and doesn't raise it up off of anything. But it's going to work fine, because if it's heavy enough, it's going to flatten out anyway. So,
Bryce, any questions for Alex? Thanks for being with us. Thanks for putting up with our Lonnie, too. He's always so much fun.
So helpful.
He is always so helpful. Thanks for joining
Thank
us. Have a
you.
great weekend.
Thank you.